All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Brandon here, and I'm excited to be in front of you today. Now, I don't have my better half with me. She is, she's out there right now doing her own thing, and we just couldn't let this information pass by us today without sharing this with you. So, anybody who's here right now, you're here because you want to figure out how to live life on your own terms and how to do that through blogging and how to blog about your passion and how to get paid to do all of that. And that's a great question on how to get paid for your passions and how to live life on your own terms. And what does that actually mean for a lot of people? A lot of people who we ask that question to don't have a clue. And, if you don't know about what a perfect day for you would be, or if you don't know what, you would love to do, if you don't know what your big passion is in life, then that's probably a good place to start on how to maybe create a more fulfilling life for yourself. And this is why me and Sara love what we do, because it's not all about the money. It's about actually helping people develop something inside themselves that's going to get them to appreciate life a little more. And this is something that'll get you to do that, because when we tap into your passion and we get you to tap into that and you just say, oh my gosh, I never knew this about myself. You then had a big breakthrough and a realization that there's probably more people out there that have never found this out about themselves either. Because, I'll be honest with you, when we first got into this business, we had no idea what we were passionate about. And a little bit about my story, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Brandon. Me and my fiance, Sara, who's usually here with me right now, we run these every day or 6 days a week. And we started this because of the fact that we were just beginning in the business about 18 months ago, and we didn't have too much guidance as far as, we didn't know who to follow. We didn't know where to go. We didn't know who to trust. We didn't know a lot of these things. And so being new into the industry, we made a lot of mistakes trusting the wrong people and doing the wrong things. Not saying they were, like malicious or anything like that, but they weren't giving us the results that we needed. They were kind of giving us the things that were working at a foundational level, on a very generic, level, but we didn't understand a lot of that we needed to do. And so what we decided by having these hangouts every day is to give a little more detailed information that could help you grow your business or help you grow in any kind of aspect in life. And so with what we have is, I started like we said, we started this company about 18 months ago, but the reason why we started was because I moved out of my house when I was about 16 years old. Now, mind you, I'm 29 right now. And sorry guys, I'm 29 right now. So you figure this is about 13, 14 years ago that I moved out of my house, and I had to hit the ground running. So the only way that I knew how to do that was to, work multiple jobs and work my way through, upper management, start at the bottom levels and just keep going. That never excited me. So what I wanted to do was get into the restaurant business, because I figured that I saw everybody else around me at that time having fun. That's what I thought fun was, getting out and partying 7 nights a week and doing that kind of thing. I'm not dogging anybody who does that. I'm just saying that's not for me now. I thought that was an awesome lifestyle when I was 16 years old, 17, 18. So I decided that, I'm going to emulate that, and I'm going to form my business around that, because I looked at it like a form of entrepreneurship. That's what I always looked at it like. I just never wanted to work for somebody else. Even though I was going in and clocking in, I kind of look at it like, okay, well, I was in charge of my money, even though I was not. Okay, it was just kind of like an illusion I was putting myself into to get me to feel good about going to work. So what I ended up doing was, after I found out that that wasn't the best light for me, that wasn't the best route that I was trying to get at, because, the days killed me. I would go into work and actually feel, you'd actually pay out money because of the fact that people wouldn't tip you, you wouldn't get the right section. It was terrible a lot of the time. And I'm not going to bring anybody down who's watching this and think that that's, not good to be a server. I had a blast doing that, and I had a great time. But what we have, even what I've been able to learn now off into another kind of industry, has been, if I took what I know now and went back into my restaurant gig, I'd make 3 or 4 times as much. It's crazy how it can be applied to so many things. So when I was, 20 years old being a restaurant server, I thought that I was living the life. Well, I got fired. I got brought in and actually got let go by somebody who was a friend of mine. They had the friendly manager, the guy who we would go out and party with. They had him sit me down and say, "You're fired. You're done. I'm not trying to do," and it was a nice kind of thing, but he had no choice because he was management and I was an employee. Didn't matter about our friendship, didn't matter about anything. And the reason why I got fired, I'm not going to get into, It's just, we all get fired for silly things. And I just thought it was kind of a brash move, because I was friends with the GM who was working there. And I thought that maybe he would be the guy to sit me down and say, you know what, this is what happened. This is where this is where you went wrong or whatever the case may be. And so I'm going to go ahead and either give you a good recommendation or no, there was like bridges were burnt. I had a 5-year job there that I couldn't use as a reference now. So what am I going to do? I had to choose, where was I going to go and take my next step to? Now, mind you, I moved out when I was 16. So now I'm 20 years old and I have nothing to go on now. What am I going to do? So I had to go into Craigslist, start looking for jobs. I start hitting the streets. I'm like, you know what? I'm a fighter. I'm going to make this happen. This is what I've got to do. So I go out there and I hit the streets. I get a job at a place that I'm way overqualified for as far as serving, because I want to stay in the restaurant industry because it was money every single day. And that's one thing that a lot of people who get into this industry that I'm in now, they kind of, that's the hard part of getting a hold of, is understanding that there's long-term wealth versus short-term cash. And what I didn't understand was that either at that time. So mind you, I get into this business or this job and I'm serving again and I'm making, maybe 25 bucks a day. I'm not lying, guys, $25 a day. When I walk into this place at 10 a.m., I'd leave at like 4 and I'd be counting my cash like, what just happened? I could have stayed at home and I could have done something on the internet. I know I could have, because you always see people, they were doing like surveys back then. That was big, online back in the day with surveys. You pay 10 bucks for a survey. And I didn't want to do that either. So I just went through with my plan, which was I'm going to just clock in and I'm going to do what I have to do. Well, that led me to getting a second job and another second job and another second job. And I was always looking for that next job. Well, I said, screw that. I said, I wasn't going to do that. I'm better than that. I'm smarter than that. Okay. And so through this whole time, mind you, I was licensed, and I'm saying this with a little bit of shame because I was licensed as a real estate agent this whole time. From the age of 20 until the age of 25, I was licensed as a realtor. And I got licensed on my first try. I mean, like, I was knocking it out. I thought that I was doing well. I just didn't make any commissions. I didn't do anything because I didn't have any guidance. I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought it was a way out. But mind you, while I was still licensed, I was working 2 jobs. So how could I commit to anybody who was looking for a house when I'm putting in 40, 50 hours a week in my jobs? It was impossible. And no one told me about, time balance and, management and all these kinds of things. I was very unaware of things. I was just kind of spreading myself super thin and I wasn't getting any results from that. So I was 25 years old now and I was living back at home with my mom. Okay, that's disturbing to say out loud because, mind you, I moved out when I was 16 because of family situations. A decade later, I'm back there because I can't find work and I have no money on my own. That's plain and simple. I'll man up right now and say that. And that was at that time where I actually found the love of my life. The other half of me, the harmonious duo, we are a half, we're a whole. And she's not here right now, but Sara, that's when I found her, was when I was 25 years old, struggling, making $25 a day about $50 a day between 2 jobs. And I got to find her. She stumbled across the restaurant. I ended up training her. And in doing so, I fell in love. And we never really left each other ever since then. And she ended up quitting that job. I ended up quitting about probably 2 months after she did. But in those 2 months that she was there, we fell in love and started seeing each other. She moved in my house with my mom. Now that's how you know, fellas, anybody watching this, that's how you know she's a keeper, is because she actually moved into my house when I was living with my mom. And that is a brutal statement to say. But that's when things kicked in for me. I said, you know what? I've got to get this together. I've got a beautiful woman. I've got a wonderful woman that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. I cannot be here letting her live less than, letting her see and live something that I don't even want to live. I can't put her through that. She deserves better. And I know there's a lot of people out here watching this that are saying that same thing. They're like, you know what? I get that. I get that. And I admire you for that, because that's what separates a lot of the people who are the doers from the people who are the takers. Okay. It's thinking about others, and so I was constantly thinking about what I could do for her. So when I came to the conclusion, it was like, okay, well, I've always been wanting to be in charge of what I can do in myself. So being in Las Vegas, if you didn't know that I'm a resident of Las Vegas, I'm born and raised here. I figured, you know what? I picked up a little bit of a hobby about playing cards, playing poker, with buddies. You know how that is, a home game and stuff like that. So I said, I'm just going to go gung ho with that. I'm going to take everything that I got. I'm going to quit my job. And I'm just going to go play professional poker. Okay. Now for anybody, that gives me chills just thinking about how awesome that moment was, because when I did that, it was liberating. I didn't have to think about ever filling out an application for somebody else ever again. That was my deciding factor. That was when I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to put my future in the hands of somebody else and let them tell me, you know what? You're fired. Because I know for a fact that me being fired from there was the best thing that ever happened to me. I just didn't realize that until 5 years later. Now that I actually made that decision to go and jump and say, you know, I'm going to go play poker full time. I'm going to do this. I did not start off that well. I didn't. I actually lost my whole bankroll. I lost everything. I had to borrow some money, and luckily I'm a credible guy. Okay, so I was able to get some kind of loans and funding and stuff like that to keep my dream alive. But I was willing to do whatever it takes. So mind you, I'm out there grinding the tables with my fiance, or she wasn't my fiance at the time, but with Sara, and she's loving life. She's a stay-at-home mother. I'm out here at the tables. I'm bringing in nice money. Okay, I get a hold of the game like nobody's business, and I end up doing really well. So about 2 years into it, she ends up getting pregnant. Wow, that's the one right there. Okay, so she gets pregnant. My game goes down the toilet. I didn't know what to do. I kept thinking about my baby. I kept thinking about why am I away from my daughter? What am I doing here? I need to be able to be there. I need to be able to be an influence. You know, that's the one thing that got me really to move out at an early age. And so I just knew I had to make a change. So what I did was I said, you know, I've got to just be open to anything. Well, I kept grinding the tables. Well, it comes to about 18 months ago? Actually, no, about 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, we come to a decision where we're not doing that well, and we're not doing that well at all. And so it's always been a passion of mine, though, to play poker. But I know for a fact that when the good Lord speaks to you, he's not telling you, he wasn't telling me, you're not going to ever play poker. He was saying, you're not going to play poker right now. That's what he was telling me. And so in order for me to maintain that freedom that I wanted and still be an influence in my daughter's life, we had to figure out a way to create a business and earn an income online. We had to. That was the only way. We heard people doing it. I had a very good friend of mine who actually was showing me 2 years ago, and he showed me for 7 months. He showed me for 7 months what he was being able to do with his business online once he actually took it serious and did what he was being taught. And me being the person that I was at that time, my mental state, I was still a skeptic. I was seeing proof every day of what my man could do. I was seeing proof every day of what him and his fiance or his partner were doing. And I didn't want to believe it. That to me it's scary because there's so many people out there that are just like me. And it took me 7 months before I realized that, you know what, this guy is showing me proof after proof after proof. And he's still in business and he's still doing this and he still cares enough about me to share it with me. And that's a big reason why we're here right now, is because the things that we have, we want to share with people who are willing to listen. It's magical when you actually take part in it. And when we did, 7 months after being taught about it, it was able to give us that clarity. It was able to give us that, okay, well, you know what? You don't have to go and fill out an application anymore, Brandon. And you don't have to go and gamble for a living either. Those are powerful things to say to yourself. When I was going through that, I was stunned. I didn't even want to believe it myself until we received our first commission online. It was amazing. It was amazing. It changed our life. And the only reason why we could do that was because we wanted to take our passions and learn how to monetize them. And that's what we're going to get in today, is how to discover your passion, what to do with that passion once you discover it, and how you can actually make money off of that. Okay, so that's what we're going to get into right now. And the first thing that we could do is basically ask you how do you discover your passion? How do you discover your passion? And there's so many questions that you can ask yourself right now. And I hope you have like a pen, maybe some paper, write this down, because once you answer all these questions, you're going to be able to look at yourself and go, okay, this is what I need to be talking about. This is what I need to be doing. These are the people I need to be around. Because once you line up all that stuff in your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions are all in harmony, you're going to start to see powerful changes in your life and around you, because people are going to see that and seeing you doing something different. And they're going to go, what the hell just happened? This person's never been like this. This person's never said anything like this, or has never been this excited about anything. And that is contagious. That is contagious. Let me just say it like that, because we've seen people transform around us and not even know why. And that to me is just a benefit of what we have to share with you guys today, and what you'll get access to if you stick around to the very end of this. And it's amazing. It is amazing. And so the first question is, what could you spend all day doing? Now, some people look at this and they go, I've actually had a buddy say, he said, talk about football. Now that's rough. I'm a man who loves football. One of my passions is the Dallas Cowboys. But now think about it. Making money talking about the Cowboys all day long to just people, That's not going to be fun. But just imagine if you can monetize that passion another way and get detailed with people, okay? And not just talk about Cowboys abroad, because that gets boring. If I just were to bring up the Cowboys, that's boring. But if I bring up specific situations within the Cowboys industry, okay? Cowboys jerseys, Cowboys cheerleaders, Cowboys trades, Cowboys drafts, Cowboys, everything that the specifics of what those are, now it gets interesting. Now people want to listen. So when somebody asks, what could you be talking about all day? Or what could you be doing all day? Don't think to yourself, okay, well, I could talk about this. Think about what you could do all day. Could you be at a football game? Because I know what he was meaning. He meant I could go watch football all day long. And I agree with him. I am a super fanatic, so I love that. But I don't know if I could, I don't know if I could do that with it just being one kind of industry. Does that make any sense? Okay, now sports, for sure. And that's what we're going to get into. It's like, don't just put yourself into a box. You could take any one of your passions and say, okay, look, I love the Dallas Cowboys. Now get specific with it. What do you love about the Dallas Cowboys? Is it what you were, like for me, is it what I was raised upon? Was it because of my father? Maybe he ended up giving me, that as a legacy, as like a pass me now. It's pretty much like the only thing that he kind of gave me. You know what I mean? Like that's why I hold on to it. That becomes as a powerful story to others when I could share it that kind of way. So think about it in another way. What is powerful to you? What is something that you hold on to dear to your heart? Because that's a passion. And so for some people like me, I'll share with you my two passions. My passions are definitely the Dallas Cowboys and playing poker. Now I've been able to monetize both those passions, and I have. And I'll tell you that when we get leads into our business from people who are interested in being at more Dallas Cowboys games, or people who are interested in, not gambling, but being able to manage their bankroll and respectively leverage their losses so that they never have to put their family in danger. That's what we're, that's amazing. That actually makes me feel really good to help these people, because it's not just about making the money. It's about transforming their lives and how they get to view their excitement. Because a lot of us who have passions, it costs money. And I know that when I would go to a Dallas Cowboy game, it would cost me a lot of money. Now, what does that do for me as a man when I get to leave my fiance and my child at home, who is a stay-at-home wife, knowing that I'm the sole provider of income, and I leave for a weekend? That does no good for anybody, because I'm usually going to have to take savings away. I'm taking time away for producing and making the income. And that puts my family at risk now. So how am I going to say that I'm a good man, have my family with my family first, that I think of them first and they come first? How can I say that honestly when I'm out there spending money with, taking away from them? That doesn't make any sense. So we've been able to actually find a way to give back and actually create a way to build income while you're doing what you love. So that's why we're having you kind of dive into your passions right now, because then the next part is going to be able to explain to you how we can make that and monetize that. So another question to ask yourself is, what excites you? Now, some people might say roller coasters excite me. That's not the kind of excitement we're talking about. We're not talking about like roller coasters, unless you're talking about like building roller coasters, I guess. Or, I guess you could, I take that back. If you were to travel around to like roller coaster parks and theme parks, we could actually probably teach you a way how to get paid from that. That's crazy. So yeah, whatever excites you, think about that. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing on your mind? We had one of our leaders who shared with us this metaphor, I guess it would be. And he said that when you have a child, or if you know of children, or if you've been around children, and say it's Christmas time, you tell them that tomorrow's Christmas, or you just gave them a toy for their birthday. And that's even probably better. Okay, say you gave them a toy for their birthday, you lay them down at night, you take away the toy, right? They were so excited the day that they got that toy for their birthday that they just were thinking about, they're going to bed talking about that toy. Say it's a race car. So they're just like, oh, it's a race car, thinking about the race car. Next thing you know, when they wake up, what's the first thing that they're thinking about? They're thinking about that toy. They're thinking about that race car. We need, as adults, we need to get back to that side of us as children and dig back into that passion and ask yourself, what excites you? What is it? Forget what everybody else may think about this answer. It's not about what everybody else thinks. That's not important. It's about what you believe in your heart of hearts to be exciting, to be true, and to be fun. That is what we can get you paid on. You see what I'm saying? So write these questions down, answer these questions. If you don't know the answers, then start to think about them and really start to resonate with those answers, because that's going to guide you down the path that you want to go. Okay, so another thing is, I mentioned, what could you talk about all day? Okay, this is a perfect one right here. This is a perfect one. when you think of a perfect day, I don't want to mess this up. Yeah. When you think of a perfect day, what do you see yourself doing? And could you do that every single day and be 100% happy? Okay. So ask yourself that, what would your perfect day be? This is actually an exercise that Sarah and I, we partook in about a year ago, because we weren't seeing results in our business. And this is about probably 8 months into our business, and we just weren't seeing any kind of results. So we got with a couple of leaders, and they said, write down your perfect day. And we were like, what we're talking about? We need to see, changes. We need to see this. We need to see this. And they're like, trust me, write down your perfect day. So we did. And it changed the way that we communicate. It changed the way that we look at things. It changed really what we were after. And a lot of people who get into business for themselves, a lot of people who want that thing out of life, they forget why they want it. They don't remember what brought them into that vision, what brought them into that dream. And if you forget that why, it starts to slip by the wayside, and you start to fall back into society's way of doing things, which leads you back to being broke, being mentally handicapped, where you're just like, you know what, I can't see what these people are seeing. And you want to take the blinders off. You do not want to be like everybody else is being. If everybody else looks at you and says, oh, why is he doing that? You're probably doing something right. It took us a lot to, follow through with this dream, because so many people looked at us and they said, these two people have no idea what they're going to do or what they're getting themselves into. They have a family that they're trying to raise. They don't know what they're doing. And they're absolutely right in the fact that we didn't know what we were doing, but they were absolutely wrong in the fact that we weren't going to be successful. I'm way too hard-headed to give up on something before I see it work. And if I see it working for somebody else, I know for a fact it could work for me. So when these leaders told me to write down my story and to say, what's your perfect day? My heart lit up, because I didn't know that my perfect day was my perfect day until I wrote it out. And we're working every day right now to build towards that perfect day. And then guess what happens when that perfect day comes? We get to build another one. And so everybody who locks arms with us and is working with us directly and shares in this, they understand and they see a difference right away. They see a difference immediately. So make sure, I know that's probably going to take you, it could take you a day to write. I don't know how detailed you want to get. I encourage you to get extremely detailed. If you need an example real quick of how to write your perfect day, write it in first person. Okay, so write your perfect day as if you are the person that's actually, it's a tip that, how do we say this? Like first person. So say if you were to start off this perfect day as yourself in 5 years from now. Okay, so you could say, I'm waking up on, what's 5 years? What's today's date? This is August or January, March, April, March. So so say March, I'm waking up on March 13th, whatever the day is, March 13th, 2023. And I'm looking out of my window and I'm seeing this and I'm smelling this and I have the sizzle of bacon in the background. And I look over and I see the person that I love waking up next to me. And then I have this, and I'm on my way to this class, and I'm going to go and read this book. And then at the end of the day, I'm listening to this music, drinking this wine. Write down your perfect day. That is going to change the way that you wake up in the morning and what you're working towards. It's going to allow you to align yourself and to say, okay, well, my beliefs are this, my thoughts are this. What do my actions have to be now? And that's going to allow you to just move. I'm talking leaps and bounds now, leaps and bounds. It's going to be huge to get that out of you. And then another thing to ask yourself is, what makes you feel alive? Okay. Now I haven't done a lot of things that I want to do because of, scared tendencies. We make excuses. I wanted to go skydiving for so long. And then now it's like, I see my friends doing it. I'm like, no, I'm scared. I got a family. I got this, I got that. I'm going to go skydiving. Because I'm not going to let myself make excuses like that. I'm just not. What makes you feel alive? Those are the things that you need to be experiencing. Those are the things that you need to be writing about. And I'm not saying I'm going to make a passion of mine to skydive. I'm just saying that if it is something that makes you feel alive, don't be afraid to go after it, no matter how crazy it may seem. Okay? Because that's going to be the thing that separates you. And it's going to make you it's going to get you to feel extremely well about what you're doing. The other thing is what stirs your heart, which is kind of like what excites you, but what stirs your heart? So what gets you going? What gets you emotionally driven? Okay, so not just get you excited like, okay, I'm going to go and do this, but what gets your heart going? Those kind of questions, a lot of people don't ask themselves. And those are why they don't last in business. Those are why they're miserable when they go home. It's because they're not doing what their heart's telling them they want to do. Now, if me being a poker player was going to hurt people, was going to make people, become more addicted or break people's homes up and things like that, I wouldn't want to be a part of that because my heart wouldn't be in it. It wouldn't start my heart that way. But you figure what I'm able to do with these poker players and help them leverage their losses, that actually builds a stronger relationship with their family, because now they're not losing money. They're actually able to understand that it's a business. I'm going to treat it like a business. And if I do that, I'll be successful. And that's wonderful to be a part of. So make sure so how can you make money? Now that we've been through about 25 minutes of this, people are probably wondering, y'all are wondering okay, Brandon, it's wonderful. These are great, but how can I make money doing what I want to do? It doesn't make any sense still. I've figured out that I am passionate about, X, Y, and Z, but how do I put this into work? And so the first thing is of course, like we just said, recognizing that your passion has a purpose, understanding that there is a reason behind that. And there's people right now that are probably yet unborn that are waiting for you to make a decision, because it's that important. And that the ripple effect does dig that deep. You do have a purpose, and it is important for you to find that passion of yours. So going through those questions, the sequence of questions, you'll be able to tap into that. And then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to begin blogging. Okay, you're going to begin blogging, connecting with a group of people who are going to be able to maximize your efforts in that area and that have been where you want to go. Okay, Sarah and I, like I said, we were broke and struggling about 2 years ago, and now we're able to take what we love, put it in front of an audience who wants to hear about it, and we end up getting people into our business and making money while not only do we sleep, but while we're out, doing, things with other people on vacation, at events and things like that. And that's been a transforming life and a transforming thing for us to take a part in. And so if you guys are wondering, well, what is blogging? What do I have to do with blogging? Well, if you look over here to the right, you're going to see a button, and that's going to be for Kalatu. That's going to be for Kalatu blogging platform. That is the exact blogging platform that me and Sarah use right now in our business to help bring people in that are interested in what we have to say. Now, like I said, once you find your passion, I can guarantee you, there's not many guarantees in this world, and I can guarantee that there's people out there that want to hear what you have to say. That's a strong guarantee. So once you dig into your passion and you join what me and Sarah are a part of, we're going to be able to help you dig deeper into that passion, ask you better questions that are going to allow you to break free of whatever mold society has put you in and allow you to just make money doing what you love. And so that's why I'm here in front of you today. I hope you found a ton of value in this, and make sure to come back tomorrow because I will have my better half with me, okay? And if you haven't already, I encourage you, click the button right here. Get involved for it's $9 for 7 days. And not only will you be able to get the access to the blogging platform, but you're going to get access to Sarah and I, who will be there for you every step of the way. We're going to make sure that that we're there face-to-face through Skype or whatever way that we could do that, so that you understand how to utilize this, maximize it, and get earning fast. Okay, so we hope to see you on the other side, everybody. Enjoy your day. And like we said, we'll see you next time. Take care.